Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. This is my Templar build for the new Elder Scrolls Online DLC, High Isle. Now, with the release of Ascending Tide and abilities scaling off of both weapon and spell damage, whichever is higher, the day for hybrids has finally come. Soon the days will be gone when we try to place Stamina or Magicka in front of the class name. Soon it'll be just Templar, Dragonite, Nightblade, Warden, Sorcerer, Necromancer. It'll no longer be a Magicka or Stamina Templar, but simply a Templar. So before we get into the sets, let me show you some gameplay, and let me thank you for clicking on the video. Don't forget to subscribe. So we are Imperial, and I think Imperial is probably the best race for Oaken Soul. Oaken Soul sustain, I feel like, is going to be a bit dicey because obviously you have to go down to 1 bar, and because you're going down to 1 bar, you're only going to get whatever weapons you choose to heavy attack with back, the resources back. So for instance, I go 2 maces, and when I heavy attack, I'm only going to get stand back. So I got to make sure that my mag sustain is in a comfortable spot, because we are hybrid and we do use just as much mag as we do stam.
All right, so I think Imperial with their 6% reduced cost, that's probably going to be the best bet for any kind of Oaken Soul user. That's just in my opinion. All right, so attributes, I got 34 mag, 25 health, and 5 stam. It helps me give this very nice balanced stat pool. I've got 20k mag, almost 31k health, and 18k stam. I do recommend that you make sure that you have more max mag than max stam, because we do use a little bit more mag abilities than stam. Okay, saying that, let me go ahead and proc Rallying Cry and Wretched and show how much spell damage we get in combat. So we will get up to 6.5k spell damage in combat, and we will get up to, let me go ahead and pop a tripod and get Wretched going. Okay, 6.5k weapon damage, and we will get up to 2200 and 2400 stam and magicka recovery in combat with the tripod. So recovery in combat will be perfect. It'll let you just do all the things that you need to do and not have to worry too much about resources, which is really nice in PvP. In PvP, you just want to be on the go all the time. If you get caught without resources, you're dead pretty much. Okay, so saying that, about 6.5k spell damage. You guys saw that. You will get about 6.5k spell damage pretty consistently with this build. Between Dawn's Wrath, Rallying Cry, and my weapon damage glyph, there we are, 6.5k pretty damn consistently every time. And we are chilling at 9k pen. Okay, so let's get into the sets and talk about what sets we're running. And keep in mind that we've got 22k resistances and 3600 crit resist. So we got really high crit resist. So let's talk about what we're using to make this happen. All right, so obviously Oaken Soul. We will be using Oaken Soul. And we will be using spell damage. You want to use spell damage for your Templar. Templars have a class passive that increases your spell damage specifically. It's a minor sorcery buff that increases spell damage by 10%. So you want to stack spell damage on your Templar. So Oaken Soul, and then it will be Rallying Cry. I used 2 infused spell damage, and then I go 1 bloodthirsty reduced mag cost. Now the 1 reduced mag cost will help you to just jab for forever. Okay, it goes a long way. Honor the Dead can still be a little bit costly, but this 1 reduced mag cost really helps you out with the mag. Okay, so saying that, we go dual wield maces. So dual wield maces, main hand will be Nirnhoned, increase weapon and spell damage glyph. And then offhand, I like charged with a triglyph. Triglyph deals magic damage and restores health, mag, and stam. It's just kind of like you get a lot back, and especially with the charged, increase the apply of status effects. It's always proccing. Okay, so saying that, you do have to go 1 body piece. Now you want to make your Rallying Cry body piece, you want to make it a belt. The belt gives the least amount of armor, and so it won't really matter what weight you run it, and so that's why you want to run light on your belt if you can make that happen. Now saying that, why divines? We are rocking pretty much all divines, and this is where our penetration comes from. So since you saw my crit resist was at 3600, it's because of this set. We're getting all the impen and crit resist that we need from this set. Between champion points and Rallying Cry proccing, Rallying Cry gives you 1650. You guys saw in my stat sheet earlier, we got up to 36 crit resist. So I don't have to worry about running impen while I have Rallying Cry. Now saying this, you're going to go divines on all your body pieces except for the chest piece. Now here we can talk about Wretched Vitality. So Wretched Vitality is the sustain set that you're going to use. We have a heavy chest piece. You want to make your chest piece heavy. The chest piece gives the most amount of armor, so you want to make that heavy for sure. Okay, so we got Wretched Vitality on the body at all times. We don't go to Monster Helm. You really got 2 options when it comes down to Oaken Soul. You can either run 2 5 pieces with Oaken Soul, or you can run your monster helm, a 5-piece, and your choice of some kind of 3-piece set. That's usually how it goes with Oaken Soul. I personally feel like you get more out of running 2 5-pieces. Okay, so this is how we get 9k pen, by the way, guys. Is how we've got the Lover Mundus Stone, and we're using all divines except for our chest piece. Now, you do want to go 1-piece magma if you can. The 1-piece magma gives you 1 line of mag recovery and stam recovery. It's also how I get so much recovery with so much damage. It doesn't matter which slot your magma is, just as long as you have 1 heavy. Okay, so if you have a heavy magma helmet, then you can craft a medium Wretched Vitality shoulder. The important part is that we are going 2 heavy, and we are going 1 light with 4 medium. Yes, 4 medium, even though we're stacking spell damage. Now let me show you why we're stacking medium. So they changed medium not too long ago. It now increases your weapon and spell damage. So there's no reason to really rock a bunch of light pieces anymore if medium is going to give you more resistances, and it's going to be arguably the same, if not more damage, if it's giving you raw spell damage. Okay, because light will give you pen and light will give you crit. But I would rather take the spell damage and the extra tankiness by running more pieces of medium. But it's really important to go 1 light because you want to take advantage of those light passives. As well as the Undaunted. Undaunted gives you 2% for all your max stats for every weight that you run. Okay, so 2 heavy, just so that way we can get some extra resistances in. 2 heavy better than 1 heavy, basically. 4 medium and 1 light. Okay, so those are the items. Let's talk about the bar setup. Okay, so we run the Magicka Morph of Jabs. Now, the Stamina Morph Biting Jabs gives you Major Sorcery. But we don't need Major Sorcery because we already have that from Oaken Soul. Major Sorcery is already always active. So saying that, it wouldn't make sense to go Biting Jabs because its morph ability, we would just basically not get anything from that. So we want to go Magic Jabs, definitely, so that way you can get the most out of it. You get a heal back from it, and you're just not wasting the morph, basically, because of Oaken Soul. So we go Magic Jabs, then we go Resolving Vigor, because Vigor does scale off of your spell damage. So we're getting some pretty thick Vigor heal ticks because our spell damage is sitting at a pretty high spot. Right now, without Rallying Cry buff, I'm sitting at 17.4k heal over time. Let's get buffed up. Let's get all that spell damage going. Let me get Rallying. I think I'm missing Rallying. Okay. We're over 6k. Our Vigor tooltip goes up to 19.4. So Vigor is very, very, very strong, and you can keep this up almost infinitely. As long as you're heavy attacking every now and then, you can have Vigor up at all times. And that's basically going to be your heal over time. It's going to keep you alive a lot, and it's going to make you feel comfortable. If somebody hits you with a Dawnbreaker or a Burst, that's when you can just hit Honor of the Dead or 2. Okay, so Vigor has a very nice tooltip. Race Against Time. Race Against Time has a lot of value on your bar. Okay, Race Against Time is going to be how you proc Wretched Vitality. Wretched Vitality requires you to either place a buff, a major buff, or major debuff, or a minor buff, or a minor debuff. Race Against Time does both of those. Race Against Time gives you Major Expedition, and it gives you Minor Force. Minor Force is increased crit damage by 10%, and it also removes snares. So you're getting a lot out of Race Against Time. Now let me talk about Minor Force and Major Force from Oaken Soul. They do stack. Okay. The increased crit damage from Major Force with Oaken Soul Let me find it here. Major force increases critical damage by 20%. Does stack with minor force, increases critical damage by 10%. So you're getting a total of 30% by using Race Against Time. A lot of value on the bar. Proc Wretched. Stacks damage. Snare removal. Speed. Race Against Time, very, very valuable. Next is Purifying Light. This is how you're going to proc the Dawn's Wrath ability that I talked to you guys about earlier. Casting a Dawn's Wrath ability grants minor sorcery for you and your group for 20 seconds, increasing your spell damage by 10%. The whole reason why we are slotting spell damage into our jewelry pieces. Okay, so Purifying Light. Why not Power the Light Sage? Power the Light, unfortunately, does not scale with spell damage. So even though it looks nice and juicy because it gives minor breach, unfortunately, it doesn't scale with spell damage. So you want to use Purifying Light so that way you can get really, really high damage Purifying Lights. And you will get high damage Purifying Lights. Okay, lastly is Honor the Dead, and then Dawnbreaker of Smiting. So if anybody wants to see the combo, you pretty much just try to get your Rallying Cry to proc with Vigor. There it is. This guy's going to die a little bit too soon. So you Purifying Light something, jab once, and then Dawnbreaker them to get that stun going off. This is a boss, so this is good. And that's pretty much your combo right there. You catch them sleeping with that Dawnbreaker. Yeah, and that Purifying Light will do a lot of damage, just like that boss went down. That'll basically be people out there in PvP. Okay, so let's finish this off with the champion points. Champion points, we've got Biting Aura, Master at Arms. Biting Aura is really good for a Templar, by the way. Increases damage done with area of effect attacks. So basically, it buffs up your jabs. Master at Arms, this buffs up the initial tick of jabs and Purifying Light. Resilience, so that way we can get the extra crit resist. Yes, we need it because Nightblades are disgusting this patch, and 2 Nightblades who coordinate a gank on me, they're probably going to kill me still. But 1 Nightblade, I'm able to survive. So I definitely think Rallying Cry and Resilience is needed in this crazy, crazy meta of gank blades. Alright, Ironclad, reduce your damage taken by direct damage attacks by 3%. And then Red Tree, I've got Fortified, Survival Instincts, Celerity, and Pain's Refuge. And then for green, we have Steed's Blessing, Gifted Rider, War Mount, and Liquid Efficiency. There is the build, guys. I hope that you have just as much success with it that I have. Come by the streams, catch it live if you're having issues. If you have troubles, come by the stream and just ask me a question. Appreciate the view. Let the friends know, let the homies know about the Templar build, and look out for some Emperor gameplay as well. I'm going to put out an Emperor video to show all the fun that we had on the Templar being Emperor. Thanks again. Don't forget to hit the sub button and enjoy the rest of the gameplay.